Welcome back to Factorio SpaceX Extreme, where we are most definitely in the, well, I guess you could call it kind of the last act of the game. We only have 7 more protection fields to launch, 22 more fusion reactors, 48 more thrusters, and another 15 FTL drives. So, what have we been doing since last time? Well, a few things. I've moved it so the copper that feeds the electric circuits here still comes up this way, but the iron is the only thing, iron for the electric circuits is the only thing that uses this path, plus a little bit of landfill. It's taking a little bit longer for some of them to get here, but that's okay. Because what we are going to do, if we look at our resources, they still tend to move around quite a bit, but we're using tons of circuits, and circuits continue to be the green circuits. It was actually at 200,000 a moment ago, so it's kind of hammered down, but circuits continue to be our bottleneck, so we're going to increase green, and then we're going to increase red, and if we end up starting to have surpluses with them, we'll increase blue as well. But I suspect that it won't be quite as simple as that. So, what we will do is, I have a blueprint, and that's not it. This one, in fact, is it. So I basically deliberately, oh that's right, that's what I need to do. This radar is in the way, so that has to go. Now, it's in the way of the fuel hopping device, and I don't want to have to redo that, so this is how you stamp down blueprints. You can always go to the map view and maybe get a slightly bigger image of how the blueprint is going to be, but this is the only way you can really do it on a fairly large blueprint, and this one is not. The largest I've done, obviously my iron stack, the whole thing in one go with the steel below it, is actually the largest blueprint, and even on map view I'm basically guessing where most of it ends up. So let's slap that down. Now it's mainly a ghost. Which armor have I got on that one? I certainly don't have all of this stuff. I'm going to have to... do I not even have any red? Maybe not. I am going to have to set up a supply station over here to sort that out, but this is generally the... oh, someone's just started up... I don't know if you can hear that. Someone's just started up a motorcycle next door. Hopefully you can't, because they tend to just leave it idling for a long period of time, which is somewhat annoying. But never mind. We will get only so far before I'll put a cut, and probably join you when this is all done. The other thing that I should show you while I have your attention is, in the main base I have ripped out all of the completed products for the final spaceship construction. I added an extra build, these fusion reactors, personal fusion reactors, so that there would be slightly more chance of getting these completed before we all die of old age. It's mainly, again, it's just they need 400,000, well, 250 processing units each one, and we need 1,600 of them, so that's 400,000 processing units to make one. And unlike the FTL drives, which actually need 728,000 to make each one, as you can see if you go in here, you go 728,000 as opposed to these guys which only need 400,000. But of the 728,000, a lot of that's contained in those modules, 8,000 of each module, and they're already built, and they're being built in fairly huge assemblies with lots of requesters stealing the bulk of the produced processing units. And in fact, let's just have a quick look at how many modules we do have, level 3 modules. We're up to the 50,000s with productivity and efficiency, and of course speed module, which has been used in a number of the other things. It's used in the thrusters. That one tends to be hammered a little bit harder, so it's trailing a little bit, but it gets produced faster as a consequence, so that kind of makes up for it. It looks like while we were talking, one more thruster and one more protection field have been built, so that is kind of fantastic. As we very slowly are zeroing in on our goal. In terms of other projects, I think the circuit one is the last major project we'll take on board. I guess you could say that there are potential minor projects in terms of adding some more resource on. I'm thinking of putting an alarm on this ore patch when it gets to 10 million or less. I'm just not sure exactly where you would put it. Maybe sort of in the middle here somewhere. If it gets to 10 mil or less, then we would initiate this one and maybe this one to give us some buffer down here. Certainly these ore patches have taken a hiding. I mean, I seem to remember this one being 80 or 90 million in total. Now it's only like 35. Obviously this one here is just about kaput. So I mean, some minor cleanup that we probably have to do is to run around and well, wipe out this mine, for example, but change some of these supply outposts to, or outpost supplies to rubbish terminals, so that we can pick up all of their resources, which we may be able to use. We have already, by picking up these, recycled whatever remainder resources there were in the requesters and in the assembly machines back into the factory to try and push along whatever production they could. But yeah, it was limited what they could do. So what I'm going to do now is I have built out the rail part of this, and now I am a little bit light on rail. Oh, I had a rail death too while I was down here. So, very happy with my new creation here. And you can see there's now 2 guns and 20 crappy ammo in there. Very helpful. And certainly having the steel axe does work. It accelerates how quickly you can pick up your body and all the remains. So that's very good. And it was a bit of a fluke, because you know I did this basically blind, but we end up standing about here when we get resuscitated. So I suppose I could kind of move everything over, but I think it's good enough. Here's our wood burner. That's all it does, burn wood. Kind of funny. This slot could probably get removed. Actually, while we're talking about removing things, is there any other belts here? No, we need more radars. I've gotten rid of too many. We have to see. Oh well, not to worry. So yeah, basically what we need now is to think whether we feel we're going to be likely to build a 4th one of these or not. And at the moment I'm thinking the likelihood is probably stronger that it's an or not. I mean, our UPS is kind of toast already, so we'll make do with 3 of them. We also, if we are making an abundance of green circuits, the last thing we want is for them to end up just sitting in the queue here waiting to be deployed into the base because it can't unload fast enough. That's not the case at the moment because a lot of them are getting chewed up by the red circuits, or actually pretty much as soon as they get unloaded they are getting grabbed because of our hungry little guy here. I do wonder if sulfuric acid potentially running out is sometimes an issue, but I think it's just, yeah, we're not getting enough red circuits at all. So the red circuit build here is running basically continuously everywhere, but it cannot supply. So we have our red circuit train. Here's one now. I wonder if this means that in 5 seconds, yeah, it does actually. The cycling of the red circuit trains pretty much are determining how fast. So maybe I should build another red circuit here. I might have to. It's possible I'll need another green circuit as well, which I can't fit here, so it would have to go over here. A red and a green, which is a very long trip, but it could go to the modules, I guess, as an alternate. Anyway, the protection field and the thruster have gone. I wonder how close we are to an FTL drive launch. We're only halfway in terms, because everything's ready other than the processing units, and that needs 8,000. These guys need 1,600 processing units. These guys, yeah, it needs to get to 1,600, so it's a long way away. And the one over here, even though I doubled it up, 1,300 is still going to take a long time. We need to get to 6,400 between that one and that one. Well, actually about 6,412. Yeah, we've got the best part of 300. Close to just 200 actually. So it is going to happen sometime soon. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cut here. I will create my supply train, who's what's it, up here somewhere out of the way, just in case I do a fourth one. I will get the supply train to build this out. I'll probably set it up, get some more trains coming into it so that it's all hunky-dory, and then we will move over here and set up a new red, and we'll have to move the outpost here as well. So I'll probably rejoin you when we're up to the red. So see you shortly, guys. Welcome back, guys. So yeah, I have, as discussed, gone ahead and finished off. I've created a supply outpost out here. I haven't actually connected this bit yet. I hope I've lined it up properly. I think I have. And I haven't named it yet. So we're over here. I have done the same sort of thing, basically copied down the red circuits. I turned the old supply outpost into a rubbish to get rid of all of the excess material, and we need a new supply outpost out this way. Where are we? We're down here at the moment, aren't we? Let's get over here. I guess somewhere around about here we could build it. Yes, that's the rubbish from replacing the old supply post. I am going to need to go round and yeah, that should do. It's kind of close though, isn't it? Maybe I could put it up there. We have all of those, I think so. Still have rail. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking this will be our last major expansion, because it just seems to be circuits are the last thing, and I'm not sure if I can deal with pushing the UPS or allowing the UPS to drop any further. I mean, at the moment we're hitting it because of the construction manager having a whole bunch of orders, but I just mean in the general course of things, I don't really want it to get any worse. What is our numbers at the moment? So the green is still moving around a bit, and we're just sort of petering on that 500k, more or less, slightly less at the moment. And I've noticed blue circuits is jumping around quite a lot as well. I'm not exactly sure why. We are producing around about 330 modules, level 3 modules a minute. I have now restricted them to 80,000 since we're up to 10. We're still quite well short of that tally though. What have we got? 50,000. The productivity 3 is now the most, efficiency 3, 48, and speed trailing a long way behind. So at the 120 or 30 per minute, well, third speed, it's going to take quite a while for that one to actually get to 80,000, but nonetheless there is a hard cap, and when it hits it we should speed up on things like the fusion reactor. Speaking of which though, the fusion reactor, we're probably getting quite close to another fusion reactor. Ooh, that's an FTL drive sitting in there, number 11. And fusion reactors 1.4. So remember, this has to get up to about 6,400, the sum of these two, plus about 12 that have been bled off for our personal armor. So 6124 and 166. We're almost up to 124. 280, 290 minus 12, 278. So about another 122. Mark II armors. No, what are these? Fusion reactors. Fusion reactors. Each requiring 250 processing units, of course. So that's still 30-odd thousand blue circuits. But then we will have a number 4 fusion reactor. And if we whiz over here, we've just done one of those fairly recently, but another one isn't too far away. Thrusters are normally the safe bet, and yeah, they're going to be a long time, so probably a thruster will happen next, but you never know. And that will join an FTL drive. Right, so the process that I have been running basically is, well, A, to ensure that our supply outpost will work properly, and I don't think that is enough actually. There is a problem somewhere here, and I think it's there. Right, that should be right, since there's some existing signal noise. Yes, that's right. In the system. And now I just have to find, okay, so that was the green circuit one. I just have to find the one I made for red circuits. Pretty sure that's not it. That's not it. Oh dear, that's not it. I should have known not to put it up here. I might have to make a new blueprint. Just sure that's not it. Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure that's for green circuits. Oh well, let's just create a new one so we don't muck around any longer. Let's go to map mode to make this a little bit easier. So it is basically everything from about this point to there. Here so that we get a accurate resource count. Run back to our supply depot and as per usual just key this in. There we go, 720, 528. And yes, this does mean a few more minutes of building these things, but hopefully we are giving ourselves the tools to build everything faster after this. We may have them anyway returned by trash trains, so it may be that we don't actually need to draw on the main bus to, was it 264? 64, a little bit of rail, 240 rail, I guess I can get that. Yeah, because we've been using rubbish trains to clean up bases, we may not actually need to pick up new copies of this stuff from the main base. 180 assemblers. 174 of these ones. And I'm actually going to turn this on now so it can start collecting it, moving into position, sending out the orders. 145, 72 steel chests. What do I use them for? Oh yes, I know what I use them for. 23 roboports. Seems a slightly odd number, but yes, I guess I do, because I have one for reading information for the light show. Strange. What was that? 13 roboports. No, not roboports. 13 substations. I'm going to ignore all the rest of those. How are we going? Hopefully it's going fine. Shall we have a quick look on the map? It's waiting on blue inserters. There's some more being loaded in, so obviously blue inserters aren't an issue. Alright, so we can just leave that to build itself, or can we? We probably need some construction robots. And we need a radar down there so that I can see what's going on. Kind of annoying that I didn't put one in, but never mind. We can put one in now. Let us see how much we can illuminate by going down a little bit. Guess that will do. Now, do you have any construction bots left on you? You've got about 60, that's not very many. I guess what I could do is run over to this supply outpost. Probably doesn't need its construction bots quite so much anymore. I can nick a few from there. Ouch. So, obviously we are moving to... I don't have any logistic bots here either yet. We're obviously moving into very much the end phase of this game. And obviously, do I have thoughts as to what worked, what didn't work, all those sorts of things. I mean, primarily, I think what I really found was for a massive base, rail world settings per the developers are really just highly claustrophobic. They should be anything but. Maybe they are for a normal size base, but when you're building something that has the capabilities of doing billions of plate smelting, not just millions or thousands, but billions, I guess that you need a lot more space. And certainly I am thinking of doing an even more extreme playthrough, believe it or not. I mean, we haven't finished this one yet, and obviously I want to finish this one before I start talking too much about future, and there are some, do a little bit of mucking around. I need to do some updates to the mod that has sort of been put on hold for quite some time, but kind of what I'm getting at is I don't think I would be comfortable trying to do it just on the so-called rail world settings anymore, or again. I would have to use RSO to spread everything out sufficiently so that you can then have somewhat more of a distributed system, because that should save a lot on UPS. Sort of getting some back. Which one of these has some bots in it? Just you. Let's grab your construction bots. How are we going? Oh, supply train must be on its way. See if I can find it. What are you doing, supply train? God. The game's breaking on me. Outpost supply. What happened? You didn't go to your outpost supply. Could you not find it? Did I name it wrong? Outpost support. Oh dear. Okay, well, you know, it is actually late evening now. I had quite a gap between the first part. I actually kept on playing to the point that I'm at, but then I took a break. I did various things I needed to do, and now it's sort of getting late at night, but I really wanted to see what or where we could get to. Not outpost support, but outpost supply. Oh dear. Oh dear. There we go. So you need to go off and on again, and maybe you'll start getting there now. Getting action. Yeah. Hopefully the initial cargo can be reloaded fairly quickly. Now, what I'm saying is, see how we're connecting up to this rail here? Most of the trains are kind of lining up here, which is fine, but how is this one going to connect? So I did kind of think maybe what I should do is extend this up here and run it across here. I mean, there's only this one and the red circuit's in the graveyard, but you know, the graveyard is neither here nor there. The red circuit trains don't go in and out nearly as often as the green circuit trains. So we do get a bit of a break there, and that does seem like a reasonable way of doing it. How much rail do I have here? 2.3k. I mean, I don't really need these rubbish stops anymore. I used this one to clear. Oh, it's all gone now anyway, but this was forest and I cleared it all. This still is forest, so I could clear them and use the rubbish stops, but probably I mean, this is probably about the level that I'd want to go through. I don't really care about the uranium. I've got tons of it over here, I think. Yeah, that one's not even tapped yet. It's mined, but it's just using this one up, and this one has actually been vanquished pretty quickly. The original one I started with, there's still a little bit left, because it's probably mainly drawing off this one. So, yeah, are you halfway done? According to that, it is done. Is it really done? Right, so you should be coming to me now. This is why I like checking. Let's make sure it doesn't stop at the supply unload. Good job. Alright, so that's going to happen. I think we will grab up some rail, and yeah, we'll basically plan to cut across here. It'll mean a slightly longer journey for the copper train and the red circuit trains, but I'm sure they'll get over it. Actually, I could do it just under that uranium, just in case. Just in case of something. I could always take the engineering train around to the other side, which might actually make lots of good sense. Because there's no reason for me to hang around here at all. Oh yes, there is. I haven't got a bridging. I haven't bridged the network so that the construction bots will be able to reach. That is one thing that I do need to do manually, but I will need some of these guys. Fortunately, I have some. That won't be enough, so we will need one more here, say. Let's give this one some power. There. Oh. Seems to have some resources in here already. Right, here we go. That was basically everything other than needing to run through it ourselves eventually. So that will build up. I'll build this access. Maybe at the end of it we can switch it all on. See what the result is, depending how long this is already. Maybe it will be next episode. Anyway, I will break here and see you soon. Bye-bye.